Every sweaty player has some secret tricks that they use to win more games, so in order for you to get more kills and win more games, you're gonna have to get better, too. Now, you might be thinking, how do I do that? I'm not a professional player, and I don't have hours and hours to play the game. Am I never gonna improve in COD Mobile? Well, you just need to do one thing that 99% players ignore, and that is improving your game sense now. Whether you're a complete noob or an average player, if you follow these 10 game sense tricks, you'll see insane improvements in no time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video, okay? So let's start by talking about reloading now. In order for you to get more kills, there is some important rules that you need to follow when reloading your gun. So first of all, the basic thing is that you should always try to avoid reloading in the open, because that's kind of dangerous. But what 99% people don't know is that reloading an empty mag takes more time than reloading a mag with a few bullets. So that means rule number one is to never empty your mag before reloading your gun. Now, obviously, it is going to take some time to turn this into a habit, but make sure you're not over reloading, because that's not what I'm talking about. And another thing that 99% players ignore is the reload bar. This bar tells you exactly when your weapon gets the ammo, and it's way faster than the reload animation. So rule number two is to focus more on using the progress bar and not the animation. So keep these 3 rules in your mind when reloading, and you will get more kills with reloading out of the way. It's time to talk about map control now. If you want to win more games, you need to learn how to control the map. So there's mainly 2 things that will help you do this. One is your minimap, and the other is sound cues. First of all, let's talk about the minimap. The minimap helps you predict enemy spawns, shows you the location of your enemies, and locate hostile K9 units or score streaks. So when you're trying to control the map, you have to gather all these important information from the minimap. But sound cues also plays a very important role in controlling the map. First of all, I'm going to show you a setting that will help you hear your enemies more clearly. So go to your setting and find this setting called the ambient volume and turn it off. After turning it off, you'll have an easier time controlling the map, because the sounds are going to be a lot more clear, so you can hear things like footsteps, gunfires, and grenades, and predict the location of your enemies with ease. If you manage to do these 2 things, controlling the map is going to be a piece of cake. Alright, there's one thing that's going to help you win more games, and that's positioning. Now, there's 3 things you need to work on in order to have the best positioning. The first and the most important thing is getting high ground. You need to make sure you're always on high ground, like build and crates on the map. Positioning yourself to a high ground will give you a wider field of view, which is going to help you spot your enemies more easily. Usually you should take high ground when you're using long-range weapons like URs or LMGs. But the second thing that will help you in positioning is priming. Now, when you're priming, you always need to make sure that you're behind a cover. The biggest benefit of priming is that it's going to give you a faster reaction time and a better accuracy, which is the main purpose of positioning. And the final aspect of positioning is rotation. You always need to rotate from one place to another if you want to become unpredictable. That way, your enemies will have a hard time finding where you are. But yeah, if you manage to utilize the habit of positioning, then you'll start to see a massive improvement on your gameplay. Now we're going to talk about how to properly play Hardpoint. Hardpoint is one of the most annoying game modes in COD Mobile, but it can be easier if you know the right game sense. Now, when you're playing Hardpoint, you either have to capture or defend your hardpoint. We're going to start by talking about how to capture the hardpoint. Now, the most important thing is that you have to make sure you have at least 2 other teammates with you when you're capturing. That way, you'll have more offensive power and the chances of you capturing will be increased. The second point is that you need to use alternate routes. The best way to capture a hard point is if 2 of your teammate goes through one route and another 2 goes through another route. By using this game sense with your team, you can overwhelm the enemy and steal the hard point. Now, defending your hard point is also important, so there's a few things you need to know about defending the hard point. Number 1 is using lethal and tacticals. The best tactical and lethal for defending is the trip mine and the trophy system. Now, you can use the trip mine to block enemies from rushing into the hard point, and the trophy system will provide defense against all the grenades and thermites. If you use these game sense when attacking and defending, the chances of you losing a hard point match will be very low. Okay, so moving on to our next game sense, it's to use the right loadouts depending on the situation. Now,